and utilize it in the seam that surrounds the perimeter of our phone, and gently pry away at the plastic clips, releasing the back cover from the phone. With all of our plastic clips released, the back cover is held on with a small amount of adhesive. Let's take our metal spudger and pry away at that adhesive, releasing the back cover from the phone. Now that our back cover is off, our battery is going to be exposed. Let's go ahead and go to the red terminal cover and remove that. And remove the two T5 Torx bit screws that are also securing the battery in place. A combination of our spudger and the plastic pull tab is going to assist us in removing that battery out of the inside of the phone. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our plastic opening tool and gently pry away at our camera cover, exposing one of the hidden screws that's just to the right of our camera flash. We're going to go ahead and take a razor blade and cut into that black foil so that we can go ahead and access that screw with our T5 Torx bit screwdriver. There's 9 additional T5 Torx bit screws that are securing the rear portion of the case. Let's go ahead and use our driver and remove all of those screws. With our screws removed, we're going to go ahead and take our plastic opening tool and separate the rear portion of the case from our phone. Let's work it around the perimeter of our phone and gently prying up and releasing the clips all the way around the perimeter. We have our metal frame that now needs to be removed from the case of the phone. We've got 3 additional T5 Torx bit screws that are securing it down. Let's go ahead and remove those. We have 3 components that we need to remove the ribbon cables for. Keep in mind the ribbon cables have locking sockets that need to be unlocked before we can go ahead and release that cable and remove it from its proper socket. Let's start off with our front-facing camera, moving on to our rear-facing camera, and then our earpiece speaker. And pull that metal frame from the top of the motherboard. With the ribbon cables removed for those 3 components, we can go ahead and pry out the plastic housing. Clips on either side of it. We'll release it from the motherboard. To remove our motherboard from the display assembly, that's held in with a small bit of adhesive, we're going to use the flat side of our spudger and put it in between the motherboard and the display assembly, separating it from its adhesive. Let's first not forget to address our metal shield that is covering the connections for our display assembly. With the metal shield removed, we can go ahead and pry up on the 3 plugs that secure our display assembly into the motherboard. And then we can go ahead and continue with the separation of the motherboard from the display assembly. Now that we are left with just our display assembly, let's go ahead and take our attention to the plastic frame that surrounds our touch screen. You'll notice that it's integrated here with our replacement part from fixeasy.com. We also additionally sell just the plastic frame if it just so happens that that's all that you're wanting to replace on your phone. So before we can get started with our reassembly, we want to prep our replacement parts with our power button as well as our volume button that's going to be located on our old display assembly frame. We utilize the T5 Torx bit screwdriver to go ahead and push those out of place. And we're going to go ahead and reinstall those onto our replacement part in preparation for our reassemble. And here's our replacement part from fixeasy.com. Like mentioned earlier, you can tell that the display assembly comes with an integrated plastic trim ring all the way around the unit. Let's go ahead and get started with the reassembly of our Razr. Starting with peeling off the plastic protective coating on the back of our LCD. And then we can align our motherboard with our ribbon wires on the display assembly. And we'll mate the two pieces together appropriately. We can go ahead and push down on our 3 display assembly contacts and plug them in. Here's our metal shield to cover up those connections. Next, we want to install our 3 components. The plastic frame that houses those components. We'll clip in the housing first and install our ribbon cable into its socket. When reinstalling our ribbon cable for these components, let's not forget to lock our sockets down appropriately. Here's our front-facing camera. Let's now put our metal frame that covers our motherboard and screw it down with its 3 T5 Torx screws. We can now reinstall the rear portion of our phone's housing.